Hi everybody, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga, and welcome to Power Yoga. This is a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice, which means we're going to be moving with breath. I'm so glad that you're here. So this class, we're going to be doing some dynamic movements here. We're going to be doing some postures that are binding postures. You may know yoga sometimes, at least I did when I was much younger and didn't know much about yoga. It was like tying yourself up in knots, being very flexible like a contortionist. Well, there's some kind of contortionist-like postures in this class. So hopefully you'll have some fun with it. But I'm calling the class Untie the Binds. Untie the binds. So sometimes we can really feel really tied up in knots. Our minds, our bodies, so many things are going on and we can get so bound up. So I want to experience getting into the binds, but really pay attention to actually getting out of the binds. So once we're in the binds, and you can certainly modify some of these poses or all of the postures if you'd like, but we're going to take our time to get out of the pose so we can feel what it feels like to release ourselves from those binds. All right, so that's the explanation of our class. Go ahead and roll out your yoga mat. Here's some props that you might want to use for this class. I'm going to suggest a couple of yoga blocks. You can certainly grab a few more, maybe for to sit on, to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. I just like to have blocks handy. I like to sit on them too, okay? And another prop that you may want to have is like a strap or a rope or a belt, but it can even be much shorter, like just a hand towel. I don't have any of those with me because I'm just going to go into the full binds or actually show you some modifications if you don't have any props at all. But if you happen to have like a yoga strap or, like I said, a small hand towel, that'll work just great. And I'll tell you how and when you can use them. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to start in mountain pose. So I go ahead and invite you to stand in a standing position with your feet about hip distance apart, with your toes pointing directly forward, just to establish a strong connection to the ground, establishing a sense of balance and centering here. And feel free to move around as you settle yourself in, arriving in this moment. And once you are here, just pay attention to your breathing. You might take a full breath in. You can breathe in through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or exhale with a nice sigh out to your mouth. And do that one more time. Nice release. And then just settle into stillness and continue to feel the steady flow of your breath. Feel your breath and listen to the sound of your breath. A wonderful way just to tune into how you're feeling at this moment. Just notice if, even while standing in mountain pose, where the body feels relatively free, just notice what is bound up inside of you. It could be some thoughts. It could be some tight muscles. Just notice. Good. Remember, our practice is about untying those binds. So think about releasing, letting go. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths while we stand here in stillness. We'll add a very simple movement. Here we go. We're just going to inhale, extend your arms out and up, reaching up. Even look up if that feels okay on your neck. Exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. Just a very simple movement. One more time. Inhale, reaching out and up. Inhaling as you do so, look into the sky. Exhale, bring your arms back down by your side, gaze forward. Just come back to stillness, and we'll go ahead and move into our half salute to the sun. Here we go. Inhale, re-extend your arms up into the air, reaching high, maybe looking up. Exhale, we're going to fold forward, a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you make your way down, perhaps touching your toes. Then inhale, slide your hands up the legs, maybe to your shins, your knees, to extend your spine, a long, flat back. Then exhale, let's fold again, make your way back down towards your toes. Just a brief pause here, maybe letting everything go. Shoulders, head, neck. Take a breath, let it sigh out.
Then shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, look forward, then extend your arms out to the side. Inhale, stand up all the way, reaching into the sky, look up. Exhale, bring arms back down by your side. Good, let's do that one more time. We're just gonna make that flow. Inhale, reaching out, just feeling how free the body feels. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. This nice free flow of the body. Inhale, let's rise up halfway. Feel the crown of your head lead you forward. Exhale, back down we go. Right away, start shifting your weight into your heels. Bend your knees, look forward. Sweep your arms out to the side like you're spreading your wings like a free bird. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, arms back down by your side. Come back to stillness. Notice your breath. So again, just noticing the freedom of the body as you just move through that half salute to the sun. Let's continue. We'll move on to series A of our sun salutation. Inhale, reach into the air. Good energy, reaching for the sky. Exhale, let's fold forward, leading with your heart. Soft knees. Inhale, extending spine. Lifting halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees enough so you can plant your hands onto your mat and step, walk, or even hop both feet back into plank pose. We'll pause here for a breath in. Exhale, shortcut to down dog. Just soften your knees a little bit, then send your hips up into the air, and you'll arrive in downward facing dog. We'll hold here for several breaths. You might need to adjust your body a little bit to help settle into the pose. I typically tiptoe forward a little bit. I even like to take my hands out a little wider on my mat, even spread my fingers just to create a strong base, pressing firmly into the ground with the hands, strong straight arms. Feel the energy move right up the arms into your shoulders and upper back. Knees can be very bent here. You're on your tiptoes or on the balls of the feet, heels are lifted. Let's breathe in, get ready to move. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat to forward fold. Inhale to lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold. Weights in the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come up to standing, reaching up into the air. Let's keep this moving. On the exhale, take a seat back into chair pose, an imaginary seat. Right there. We'll inhale, extending through your arms. And then the exhale to dive out of your seat, back down towards toes, forward fold. Inhale, rise up halfway, long spine. Exhale, bending your knees. Hands to the mat, walk, step, or hop both feet back into plank pose. Once you're here, breathing in, we're going to keep it moving. Exhale, bend elbows, lower your way down in a straight line towards the floor, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press hands into the floor to straighten your arms, lifting the chest, looking forward, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck your toes. Lift the knees, then hips into the air, downward facing dog. Settle in, adjust the feet and hands. Let's get into the lunge. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Reach long, reaching for the wall or the ceiling. Exhale, bring right foot to the top of the mat. Nice landing up top. Turn left heel to the floor behind you. Be sure there's good weight into that foot back behind you. Extending your torso out over your thigh. Then we'll inhale, rise up, reach up into the air. This is Warrior One. Exhale, hinging at the hips to fold. Bring your hands back down to the ground. Let's step back into plank pose. Bend elbows, squeeze them in towards your ribs as you lower your way down. Inhale, upward facing dog with nice long legs and pointed toes behind you. Exhale, tuck your toes under, lifting knees and hips into the air. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, extend left leg up, reaching back nice and long, straight line. Exhale, left foot steps through, landing at the top of the mat. Right heel plants into the floor, shifting the weight so you're balanced. Extend your torso out over left thigh, then inhale, rising up, reaching both arms into the sky, Warrior One. Exhale, hinging at the hips to come back down, plant the hands, and we'll step back into plank pose, lower your way down, finishing the push-up. Inhale, flowing right into upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's pause here for a couple breaths. Again, just feeling that freedom in the body. Moving through these sun salutes. We're going to go to the floor here in a moment. You can just kneel down to take a seat or feel free with an exhale to hop forward, cross your legs and take a seat. Sit in the center of your mat and then go ahead and roll down onto your back. You'll lie down with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Pause here for a moment just to help settle in. Take some breaths. Deep cleansing breaths, maybe similar to how you were breathing in mountain pose when we began our practice together. We're going to move into bridge pose, which is a nice back bend or heart opener. Another way to really feel the freedom of the body, a nice opening for the whole front side of your body. Inhale now to fill up your lungs. Exhale to empty your belly. Engaging the belly. Feel your low back press into the floor and then peel away from the ground, lifting your hips up into the sky. And there we are. Now, I like to get my arms and shoulders a bit underneath, just like this, and then even bending elbows at 90 degrees. Fingers are reaching for the ceiling, but my arms are in this L shape. Pressing down into the ground with the elbows and triceps to lift a little higher, just a nice way to stabilize and lift the upper body a little bit more. And again, just feeling this nice spaciousness through the whole front side of your body. Helping to already begin to release some of those binds that are already holding on to you inside, just through these initial opening postures. 2 more breaths. When you're ready, just wiggle your toes forward a little bit. We're just making space so we can get out of the pose. Then extend your arms straight up into the air, and then roll your way down. Once you've made your soft landing, extend the legs out in front, and your arms reach behind you, just like extended mountain pose. We're just lying down. Again, another opening of the body, reaching in these opposite directions. Then go ahead and hug both knees into chest. Start to rock forward and back, gaining a little momentum, and with a good exhale for energy, rock your way up to seated so we can come to boat pose. So we want to kind of create this V shape in the body. So the legs or the feet are lifted, knees can stay bent, that's fine. You can certainly extend the legs, straight lines like that, but it's okay to keep the knees bent, which is what I typically do. You do want a nice lengthened spine, and you're leaning back so we have this angled body. Inhale just to feel the lifting of the torso, breath rising to fill up your lungs, then exhale to engage the abdominal muscles here. That's what's going to help you really strongly stabilize the body. Now we've got some balancing postures in this sequence today, so we do want to engage core, which is going to help us with some of our balancing. All right, let's breathe in. Then exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back into plank pose. Stay here. Go ahead and take a shortcut to downward facing dog. Let's continue with the lunge sequence. Let's inhale, extend right leg up. Let's open this up. Bend the knee, bring the heel down towards backside, lifting the knee up towards ceiling, just a bit of a twist and opening of the hip. With the exhale, we'll unwind it, step through. Right foot to the top of the mat, left heel plants into the floor behind you. Long torso, inhale, rise up, reach up, warrior 1. And our exhale to turn your torso towards the left side of the room, arms come down to parallel. Warrior 2 right here. This is nice. Nice deep lunge here, opening up through the inner right thigh. Let's keep it moving. We're going to move forward or reach forward to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate your arms so your right arm is reaching down, left hand up initially. So a nice expression, an opening of the heart. There's also a hip opener, so another free feeling in the body. Now go ahead and bring this left hand down behind you to your low back. This is the start of our bind. We're just going to keep the hand at low back. Roll the left shoulder back just to kind of open up through the chest. You want to feel like your heart is actually moving forward. Holding here for a moment. So this is actually a modification of a bind. We'll get into a full bind a little bit later, but know that you can always come to this position. Let's go ahead and inhale, re-extend left hand up into the air, turn, fold, bring hands to the floor, step back into plank pose, strong straight line, hold. Bend your knees a bit, send your hips into the air, downward facing dog. Other side, inhale, extend left leg into the air, bend and twist open. Bit of a hip opener right there. With the exhale, we'll unwind, step through, landing. Right heel plants into the floor behind you, find that centering in the body. Extend your torso, then rise up. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, opening to warrior 2. Settle into the pose. Maybe taking the feet a little bit wider apart. Nice lunge. Outstretched arms. Side angle, reaching forward, angled upper body. Rotate the arms, reaching down and up. Now this left hand could reach the floor or your stacked blocks. This is where I typically go, where my arm is just braced on the inner left thigh. Side angle pose. Let's go for that bind, or the initial bind, where you will bring your right hand down behind you to your low back, which you can just keep right there. Later on, we'll do a full bind, but remember, you can always do this variation. Roll the right shoulder back, feel the heart opening, moving to the right side of the room, holding for another breath. And then we'll inhale, extend right hand up into the air. Exhale, turn, hands down to the ground. And again, stepping back into plank pose. Hold. And your shortcut to down dog. Breathing in, fill up your lungs. With your exhale, walk, step, or hop, both feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, extending spine. Exhale to fold. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come up to standing, reaching into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Very nice. All right, we're starting to warm up the body as we go through those sequences. Let's get into some balancing. We'll start with tree pose. Find your mountain pose, steady on 2 feet. Then start shifting your weight over into your right foot. Press it firmly into the ground. Feel the leg energized. With your inhale, feel tall, breath rising to fill up your lungs. Exhaling to engage your belly. Then lifting your left foot up off the floor, maybe flexing the foot so the leg is strong here at 90 degrees. And then we'll swing the knee out to the side, placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. Then inhale, let's take the arms up into the air. Nice reaching feeling, good lift, lifting through the torso, long straight spine. Breathing, focusing on something out in front of you. Remember, when you inhale, we're reaching and extending. Exhaling, finding your center, perhaps drawing belly button in towards spine. Let's keep the arms extended. We'll swing the left knee forward, lift your knee with the flexed foot, and then plant the foot back down into the ground. Arms come back down by your side to finish. Very nice. You can always shake that out if you want to. And then we'll get ready for the other side. Mountain pose, and then tree pose. So start shifting weight into the left foot, press firmly into the ground, strong leg. Inhale, tall, lengthened spine, fill up your lungs. Exhale, engage belly, float the right foot up, flexing the foot, thighs parallel to the ground. We'll swing the knee out to the side there, placing foot on the inside of your standing leg. Inhale, let's take the arms up, reach up, feel lifted, feel light. Another sense of freedom in your body. And maybe that tree can represent that freedom. Finding something to focus on out in front of you, keeping the energy in the body, foot rooting into the floor as your fingertips reach for the sky. One more breath. Keep your arms extended. We'll swing that right knee forward. Lift your knee with a flexed foot. Plant the foot into the ground. Arms can return down by your side. Very nice. And you can even shake the shoulders out. Let's go through another sequence together. Continuing to add on. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, lifting halfway up. Exhale, hands to the floor, hop, walk, or step back into plank pose. Come down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's keep it moving. Inhale, extend right leg up, bend and twist open, hip opener. Unwind it with an exhale, step through. Landing, right heel turns to the floor behind you. Rising up. Warrior 1. Exhale, opening to Warrior 2. Side angle pose, reaching out. Rotate the arms, right hand down, left hand up. Let's go to that bind again. Here's the initial bind, where your left hand just comes down to your low back. Or what you could do here, if you want to go a little deeper, if you're ready, take the feet a little bit wider, so farther apart. I'm just moving the right foot forward a bit, lunging a little deeper, which brings me a little closer to the floor. Even bringing my arm low enough until my elbow is actually below my thigh. That's going to allow me to bend this right elbow, reach underneath, and perhaps reach up, find left fingers. And I'm actually hooking the fingers behind me. This is where your strap or a towel can come in handy. Or go back to the first version of the bind. So our bound side angle. Let's inhale right here. And exhale. Release the bind, re-extend the arms floor to ceiling. Inhale again. Exhale, turn. Let's bring the hands to the floor. Step back into plank pose. Finishing the push-up, coming down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg up, bend and twist open. Exhale, step left foot through. Right heel plants into the floor behind you. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, opening to warrior two. Side angle pose. Rotate the arms. Reach up, reach down. Bring right hand down behind you. Stay here if you'd like for the initial bind. Or take the feet a little bit farther apart, lunging a little deeper. Bring the arm a little lower so your elbow is below the thigh. That way you can bend the elbow, reach underneath. Can you see this? I'm able now to reach the right hand and hook a couple of fingers together. I'm still trying to open my torso towards the right side of the room for this bind. Now the next time we get here, we'll pay a little bit more attention to what's happening in this pose, holding it a little bit longer, and then feeling ourselves get out of it. This is just an invitation or initiation. Let's release the bind. Inhale, re-extend the arms floor to ceiling. Exhale, turn. Let's bring the hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Finish your push-up, come down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's pause here for a moment. We're going to add a pose here. Pigeon pose. So let's go ahead and re-extend the right leg up. Bend and twist. We're going to exhale, unwind it, and bring the right knee to the floor behind the right wrist so we can angle the leg on the floor like so. Once you've landed, let's set the left knee down gently. Use the left knee and toes to crawl this left leg back, which will shift you back a little bit, allowing you to kind of sit into the posture. You're still facing forward, so you might even look forward, step the hands forward, feel like you're extending the spine, going forward even more, and then continue to lower yourself down, perhaps down to your elbows. You can even bring your head all the way down to the ground, or stack your fists and rest your forehead on your fist. That's what I'm going to do. You can also bring in a block or maybe a rolled up towel or blanket right here. So we're just going to settle into this hip opener, pigeon pose, because this is going to be the setup for another bind that's going to be coming up a little bit later in our practice. So just feeling this. So we're going to do the other side in a moment, and then we're going to go back to that side angle binding posture and just take a little time to experience what's happening in that pose. And then feel ourselves get out of those positions. Let's take 2 more breaths here on this side. And then you can slowly rise back up so you're on your hands. Here, to get out of the pose, go ahead and sit onto the right side, all the way over to the right, so we can free up this left leg and bring it around to the front. Reposition your seat here so you can come to bound angle pose for a few moments, just to kind of realign the body and center the body so kind of both halves are doing the same thing. A couple breaths there with a transition to boat pose. So when you're ready, start to lean back. As you're leaning back, bring the knees together, lift your feet into the air. There's our boat pose. We're going to keep it moving. Breathe in for an extended spine. Exhale to move. Cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose. Strong straight line, hold. Let's take a shortcut to downward facing dog. We'll do pigeon pose other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, bend and twist open for the initial hip opener. Exhale to unwind it. Left knee comes to the floor. Angle this left leg about 45 degrees is fine. Setting the right knee down, using the right knee and toes, crawling back. You're actually shifting your hips back to a little bit more centered space, so there's less pressure in your hands. Notice that. Look forward. Feel like you're crawling forward. Inhale for more spinal extension there. And then exhale, maybe lowering yourself down. Take your time with all of this. I know I'm going pretty quickly through these poses. We're just bringing some good energy to the body in this practice, as well as bringing awareness to binds that we can find ourselves in at times. So I'm just resting my forehead on my stacked fists, experiencing the hip opener. Here you can certainly pay attention to what's going on. So in this case, the right leg is extending back. You might feel a lengthening sensation through the front side of that right leg. So the upper thigh, right into the hip flexor area, low abs. Left leg obviously bent and in front. You might even feel an inner thigh release, maybe even a sensation in your outer hip and glute. 2 more breaths. And when you're ready, just carefully make your way back up onto your hands, lifting your upper body, and then sit over to your left side. So you can free up that right leg and bring it around to the front. Resit. Find Cobbler's pose, finding centering and balance in the body. Just sit up nice and tall. A breath or 2 here. And that same transition to boat pose. Start to lean back. As you're leaning back, bring the knees together, lift your feet. Keep it moving. Inhale, lengthen spine at an angle. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank pose. We'll come down this time, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's go ahead. Go right into the bind again. Inhale, extend right leg up, bend and twist. Exhale, unwind, step through. We're just keeping it flowing. Left heel plants into the floor. Find your centering, long spine. Inhale, rise up, warrior 1. Exhale, opening to warrior 2. Already taking a wider stance, lunging deeply. Side angle, reach out more. Rotate the arm so the elbow is coming down below that thigh. Left hand initially reaching up into the air. Exhale, you can bring left hand down behind you. Stay there for the first version of your bind, or reach right arm underneath. Find the left hand, clasps fingers. Now, what's classic about some binding postures is a lot of body parts are pressing into each other. I like to call it acupressure, or it's similar to acupressure. For example, my right arm is pressing into my right leg. I can feel my left arm down through my low back. My fingers are hooked. There's a great hip opener because of the binding sensation. I can really feel this. My right glute feels tight because it's trying to support my body, trying to stay open. So lots of things are going on in this bind. Now let's slowly release. I'm releasing the fingers first. I'm bringing right hand to the floor, so now this right arm feels a little bit more free. My hip is releasing. That feels a little bit more free as well. Extending left hand up into the air, freeing up and opening up through the chest. And then when I can turn, bring both hands to the floor. And if I slide the right foot back and draw this straight line in the body, plank pose, there's that evenness again, that centering, and another sense of freedom in the body. Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog. So much can happen in these binding positions. Meet me in down dog. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg up, bend and twist. Unwind, step through. Left foot to the top of the mat as you exhale. Plant that right heel into the floor, extending through torso. Inhale, float up, warrior 1. Exhale, opening warrior 2. Already taking the feet a little bit wider, lunging deeper. Side angle pose. Reach more. Rotate the arms. Maybe left elbow is below the left thigh. Right hand initially reaching up into the air, and then bring right hand down behind you. Stay here if you'd like for the bind. Or left hand reaching underneath. Hook those fingers if you can reach them. There's our second bind. Arm pressing into the leg. Great hip opener. Leaning back. There's a lot of balancing here happening. Rolling this right shoulder back. Right arm down the lower back so I can feel the hand, my arm against my back body. Feel this. Trying to stay balanced in the bind. Let's inhale to slowly release the hands. Left hand down, right hand reaching into the air to feel the opening of the heart. Turn, bring hands to the floor. Both hands planted so you can slide the left foot back, finding alignment and centering, feeling a little bit more free in the body. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Very nice. Inhale here. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat to forward fold. Inhale just to lengthen through your spine, and fold again on the exhale. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, come up to standing, reach up into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Good job. All right, so that was our first binding position where we paid a little bit more attention to what the body was experiencing in that side angle binding position. Let's do another bind. It's another balancing pose, eagle pose. Eagle pose has a leg bind and an arm bind. Okay, now I'm going to initially start facing the other direction so I don't get my left and right mixed up. So we're doing the same thing. So just follow me, moving into eagle pose. First, just take a breath or two. Then go ahead and inhale and take both arms up into the air. Feel free to look up. When you exhale, slowly bring the arms down and pay attention to your left arm. Bring it down. Bring both arms down. When you bring the arms down, bring them in front of you, where your right arm comes down and behind the left, and you cross at the elbow, so you make an X. Spin the palms forward, and then lift the hands by bending the elbows. And if you can, wrap up the arms. And there's our bound up arms, if you're able to do that. Okay? Then put a little bend in the knees. Shift your weight into your right foot, because we're going to balance on the right foot. Exhale, draw belly in for balance, pick up the left foot, cross this left leg entirely over the right. Okay, so there's no space between the legs. If you can, wrap the foot, this left foot, around the right calf if you can. I'm just going to set my toes on the floor here just for a little extra balance. And then we want to squeeze a little tighter, so really experience what this bind feels like. So squeeze the arms tighter. You might feel this in your shoulders. We really get a lot of binding sensations in our shoulders and necks. Squeeze the thighs together. Feel that. Pull belly in. Alrighty. Now we're going to experience getting out of the pose. We're going to start with the legs. Lighten up the legs, soften the legs, uncross the legs. Plant the feet firmly into the ground. Feel solid. And then slowly start to unwind like there was a bound up like a braid of hair or rope. And you want to unwrap it. Okay, and then drop the arms. Reach them out to the side, then up into the air to experience that freedom. And bring the arms back down by your side. Give the shoulders another little shake right here. Good. Alrighty. So when we return to mountain pose, it's a nice freeing sensation. All right, very open, no binds. Let's do the other side. I'm just going to turn around again. Here we go. Inhale, reaching out and up. Take your time with this, moving into eagle pose. Exhale, slowly bring the arms down. Pay attention to the right arm. Bring it down. And you're going to bring the left arm down and behind the right. Cross at the elbows. Lift, wrap. Bend the knees a little. Send the weight into the left foot. Exhale, draw belly in. Pick up the right foot, cross that right leg entirely over the left. Wrap the foot around the calf or just set toes on the floor, but squeeze. Belly is squeezing in. Arms are squeezing a little tighter. Notice the joints. Notice the muscles. The joints would be the elbows and your shoulders. Squeeze the thighs a little tighter together. Again, there's that acupressure, okay? Which is another way to help release binds in the body, getting into fascial tissue, connective tissue to help release. Let's pay attention to this release. We're starting with the legs. Slowly soften the legs. Uncross the legs. Plant the feet so you feel solid on the ground. Slowly unwrap the arms. Unbraid that rope. Let them drop. Freedom, releasing, reaching out, reaching up. Nice. Then exhale, arms down by your side. Good. All right, so we're going to go into eagle pose again. Follow me, because when we release our eagle pose bind, we're going to free up the body, opening up into a warrior two position. Okay, and just follow me from there. Okay, we're starting with Eagle Pose, right side. Here we go. Inhale, take the arms out and up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Pay attention to the left arm. We'll do this a little bit differently. Bring the left arm down and behind the right. Behind the right. Cross at the elbows, make an X. Lift, braid, or wrap it all up. Bend the knees. Shifting weight into the right foot. Exhale, engaging. Pick up left foot, cross left over right. Let's squeeze, create that bind. Tight, tighter than usual. Feel the sensation, feel the bind. This is how we'll get out of the pose. Once again, starting with the legs. Soften the legs, uncross the legs, but step the left foot way back on your mat until you're in a lunge. Then unbraid the arms, reach out, open up. There's your warrior two. We're going to reverse the warrior, taking right hand up into the air. Nice lengthening down through the right side of your body. And then side angle, right hand down, left hand up, reaching up and down, second bind, left hand down behind you, maybe low enough so you can get right arm underneath, bind the fingers. Right there. Unbind, re-extend the arms, freeing up the body. Turn, bring hands to the floor, rise up onto tiptoes behind you, stay here. We're going to step the left foot forward, give yourself a little push. Step the left foot to the top of the mat to forward fold. Shifting weight into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come up to standing, reach up into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Let's continue. Eagle pose, other side. Inhale, take arms all the way up. Exhale, slowly bring arms down. Pay attention to the right arm. Bring it down and behind or underneath the left. Cross at the elbows. Make an X lift. Wrap it up. Bend the knees. Put weight into the left foot. Exhale to engage. Pick up right foot. Cross right over left. Squeeze once you're there. Tight. Arms and legs and belly. Feel the bind. Feel the sensations in the body. Soften. Uncross the right leg, step way back onto your mat into a lunge. Then unbind the arms, extend the arms, free up the body. Reverse the warrior, left hand reaching up into the air, stretching and lengthening to the left side of the body. Side angle. Okay, so now left hand comes down, right hand up into the air, opening up through the heart. Take the bind, right hand comes down behind you. If you can, hook fingers, or keep using your strap or towel if you want, or use the variation where your right hand is just at low back. Release the fingers, re-extend the arms floor to ceiling. Turn, bring the hands to the floor. Rise up onto tiptoes facing forward. Step forward with the right foot into forward fold. Stay here, monkey pose. Exhale, fold, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Come down, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, extend right leg up, bend and twist. We're going to pigeon pose again. Right knee to right wrist, angled leg on the floor. Left knee to the floor. Use left knee and toes to crawl back, find your center. Extending through torso. Crawl forward. We'll take a quick rest here. You're going to add something here. 2 more breaths. All right, we're staying in pigeon, but just come back up onto the hands. Just something like this where you're still kind of at an angle with the upper body. Pick up your left hand. You're going to thread this left arm behind, the right arm, reaching across the room, and you're literally just going to fall, but gently, onto this left shoulder. Boom, right there. Take the right hand up into the air. Bring the right hand down behind you, just to your low back. Okay? So we're literally just lying entirely on the left arm, while the left hand is reaching towards the right side of the room. Right hand is at the low back. Remember this because we're going to do something further a little bit later, but this is the variation. Inhale, re-extend the right hand up into the air. Bring the right hand to the floor. Push into the floor so you can lift yourself up. Unthread this left hand. Both hands in front here. Sit over to right side. Bring left leg around to the front. Cobbler's pose. Resit. Realign, nice and tall. Boat pose, lean back. Knees together, lift feet. There we are. Inhale, extend through spine. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hop or step back, plank. Come on down, chaturanga. Alrighty. So we added on to our pigeon pose, adding another bind. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, bend and twist. Exhale to bring that left knee forward, landing it behind the left wrist. Angled leg. Right knee comes to the floor, use right knee and toes to crawl back, find your center. Extended torso, crawl forward. I'll pause here for a few moments. Just settle into this release. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths, and we'll get it ready for this bind. Just lift yourself back up onto the hands, but you can stay at this angle. Right hand, you're going to thread it behind the left. Carefully fall. You're just kind of going off center, just boom, right down to the floor. I just kind of fell right onto my right shoulder. Nothing graceful about it at all. So I'm entirely on my right arm. So I can pick up the left hand, reach up into the air, and then just bring it down behind me, either just to low back or even around to my right hip. Kind of opening up towards the left side of the room, bit of a twist here. So this is a bind. Yes, you are kind of sitting on this left leg. If you need to get out of it sooner, please do so if it's a little bit too intense. No worries. We'll go ahead and re-extend this left hand up into the air. Turn left palm to the floor. Press to lift to unthread this right arm. Keep sitting out over to left side. Bring the right leg around to the front. Cobbler's pose. Sitting up tall to realign. Then boat. Lean back. Knees together. Lift feet. Inhale here. Exhale. Cross legs. Hands in front. Hop or step back. Plank pose. Go ahead and come down. Up dog. Downward facing dog. All right, one more bind here. Follow me. We're going to inhale, extend right leg up. Bend and twist. Unwind, step through right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel plants into the floor. Find balance. Extended spine. Inhale, rise up. Warrior 1. Exhale, opening warrior 2. Side angle. Rotate the arms. Bind. Left hand down behind you. I'm going to the full bind. You can stay at the partial bind. We're going to take this to another pose. Stay in the bind as best as you can. Follow me. Do your best. I'm just kind of throwing this at you. Okay, that can be overwhelming in a bind in itself. Look at the floor. Look on the floor by your right foot. So you're going to take the left foot and just step up to the top of the mat. Yes, I'm still in the bind. Till my feet are aligned next to each other. Now I'm shifting weight over into my left foot. I'm still in the bind. Once that left foot's planted, I'm going to take a good exhale and lift myself up, picking myself up. I'm going to turn this way so you can kind of see. So I'm bound, and I've picked myself up. This right arm is literally underneath my right leg. This right leg is kind of draped over. Now, if you can even extend that right leg, but you don't have to today. Flexing the foot just to keep it active. This is bird of paradise. And we'll release this, release the bind. This is the freedom part. Placing right foot on left inner thigh, take the arms up into the air. That should take you to tree pose. Freedom and opening of the body. Swing right knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot. Plant the foot into the ground. Mountain or extended mountain pose. Stay here. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, swan dive. Monkey pose. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Stay there in plank. Take a shortcut to down dog. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, bend and twist. Left foot to the top of the mat, warrior 1. Inhale to rise. Exhale, opening warrior 2. Side angle pose. Rotate the arms, bind. Right hand comes down behind, modify or go for that full bind. We're moving to Bird of Paradise. Do your best. See if you can keep the fingers hooked. If they need to release, that's fine, but just keep the arms generally where they are, even though you may not be binding. Look down at the floor. With a good exhale, we're stepping the right foot up to the top of the mat, like you're in mountain pose, for example, or a forward fold. Shift weight into the right foot. Keep the knees bent. That'll help. With a good exhale, press foot into the foot to lift yourself up, flexing the left foot once it leaves the ground, rising up, maybe extending the left leg if you want, but you don't have to. Facing forward as best as you can, rolling the shoulders back, opening up through the chest. Feel all these connections. Release the fingers. This left foot's just going to come to right inner leg here. Both arms up into the air. That's our freedom. Untying of those binds. Swing left knee forward, lifting knee flexed foot. Plant the foot into the ground. Arms down by your side. Wow, good job. Alrighty, so we're going to put the little sequence together. Okay, it's short, but it's dynamic. So it's going to start with the eagle pose, warrior 2, reverse warrior, side angle bind, bird of paradise, tree, mountain. Okay, and we'll do the other side, and then we're going to add on the surprise bind at the end. Okay, I'm just readjusting my mat. You can do the same, or get a sip of water, get a towel, get ready to go, set yourself up. Okay, well, so we'll come to mountain pose, standing at the top of the mat. Starting with eagle. Inhale, taking arms out and up. Exhale, bringing arms down. Paying attention to the left arm. Left arm's going to come down and behind the right. Make your X. Lift, wrap. Bend the knees, put weight into the right foot. Pick up the left foot, cross it over the right. Squeeze tight, there's your bind. Eagle pose, squeeze arms, belly, and legs. Inhale to squeeze tighter. Exhale, release the left leg, step the left foot all the way back to the mat. Unbind the arms, warrior 2. Reverse your warrior, right hand reaching up. Side angle, right hand down, left hand up, nice extension. Bind it here. Left hand comes down behind, bind. Find the bind, look down. Step left foot to the top of the mat. Send weight into the left foot, stand. Do your best. Bird of paradise. Feel all these connections. Release the bind, tree pose. Right foot to the left inner leg, extend the arms up into the air, free the body. Keep arms extended, swing right knee forward, plant foot into the ground. Inhale, keep reaching high, extended mountain. Exhale, bring the arms down, ready for eagle on the other side. Right arm will come down and behind the left. Make your X. Lift, wrap it up. Bend your knees. Put weight into the left foot, root. Cross right over left. Bind, squeeze, tight. Feel it. Inhale, squeeze tighter. We're going to release here. Exhale, free the body. Right foot steps back. Open up warrior 2. That's the freedom. Reverse the warrior. Left hand reaching up into the air. More freedom. Side angle. Open up the heart. Left hand down, right hand up. And back to a bind. Right hand down behind you. Hook the fingers. Look down at the floor. Bird of paradise. Step the right foot to the top of the mat. Send weight into the right foot. Plant it. Stand. Do your best. It's okay if you lose your balance. Rise up. Flex the left foot. That'll keep things strong. Here's the bind. Here's the freedom. Tree pose. Left foot to right inner leg. Extending arms up into the air. Reach and open. Turn left knee forward. Lift knee, flexed foot. Plant the foot. Still in the extended mountain. Inhale, reach high, look up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, monkey pose. Exhale, hands to the floor. Hopper step back, plank pose. Come on down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. We have another bind to do. Downward facing dog. Inhale, extend right leg up, bend and twist. Pigeon, right knee behind right wrist, angled leg. Left knee comes down, crawl the left leg back. Settle in. Step the hands forward. Okay, we're not going all the way into the pose. Here, take your left arm, thread it behind the right. Gently fall all the way down onto left shoulder. Okay, now the first time we brought right hand up into the air and brought right hand down behind you. That's the bind. Now here's another variation. Okay, if you can see me, the left foot, that leg that's behind, I'm bending the knee, bringing the heel towards myself. My right hand is free, or I'm going to free it up, and see if I can grab that right foot. Actually, it's the left foot. It's going to be so confusing. I'm bringing in the left foot, pulling it in with the right hand. My left hand is free. It's just on the floor here. But I'm reaching kind of between the right thigh and belly to go get that foot. I'm just holding onto the toes. So left hand, left foot, taking right hand, reaching behind me, and I can even feel my toes there. So I'm really in a bind. Call this pretzel. Release, taking the time. Oh yes, feels really nice to actually unbind, unwind, because there's a twist involved there, into a nice pigeon. Sit off to right side. Left leg comes around. Let's take boat. Let's hold boat for a moment. I'm sorry, bound angle first, then we'll move into boat. But bound angle just to free things up. Pretty challenging pose and perfectly fine if you weren't able to grab all those limbs. Lean back, ready for boat. Bring the knees together, lift the feet. There we are. Inhale, extending spine. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front. Hopper step back, plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. We'll get to the other side. One more bind to go. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, bend and twist. Left knee comes to the floor behind left wrist, angled leg. Right knee comes down. Use the knee and toes to crawl back. Just keep the hands out front, just like this. Pick up the right hand and thread it behind the left arm. Come all the way down to right shoulder. Left hand reaches up into the air and bring it down behind you. You can stay here or bend the right knee. This left hand is going to go get that foot and pull it in. Now there's a gap here. I don't know if you can see this. There's a gap between my belly and my right thigh, my left thigh. My right hand, I'm waving at you. I'm going to reach between, through that gap and see if I can go get those toes and switch and free up my left hand. And take the left hand down behind me, finding left foot. Now this is a bind. Releasing slowly, freeing up the left hand up into the air. Bring it down so I can grab this foot. Free up the right hand. Release that leg to the floor. Left hand can come to the floor in front. Press and lift, unwind, because it's a twist. Back into pigeon for a moment. Sit off to left side. Swing right leg around so I can come to Cobbler's pose. Just going to adjust my mat quickly. Cobbler's pose. Sitting up tall so everything can kind of come back to its natural shape after being in those twisted binding positions. Take a breath or two here. No more boats. We're finished with our boats. We're going to lie down. So make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat. Go ahead and roll down onto your back. Bring knees to chest. And some rocking, some movement, any movement that might feel good. Maybe some deep breaths here just to signify all the binding, but all the releasing of those binds. Remember the name of this class, Untie the Binds. And hopefully you were able to do that. One, we got into them, and certainly in our regular lives, we certainly feel those binds. We want to be able to also feel the freedom of releasing from them. Let's take a twist. Let's take the knees over to left side, extend the right arm off to right side. Paying attention to breathing, that was a dynamic sequence. Lots of challenging poses. And doing your best just to return to slow, deep breaths.
About 2 more breaths on this side. When you're ready, return to center. Hold here for a moment. Then we'll take knees over to the right side, left hand to the left, spinal twist. Once again, tune into your breathing. Notice how you're feeling. Maybe this practice helped you release some of those binds. Sometimes we hold sensation, energy in our tissues, muscles, bones, ligaments. And sometimes just that squeeze of those body parts into each other, that acupressure effect, can help release that energy that's bound up inside. 2 more breaths. Go ahead and return to center. Give yourself a hug here, knees towards chest. And then go ahead and extend the legs out in front of you onto the floor, moving right into Shavasana. Arms can come down by your side, resting, relaxing. Just wanted to give you some time here. Now, if you want to get into any other pose as a nice finisher for yourself, please do so. And then make your way to Shavasana, but just in the interest of time, I just want to come right away to our Shavasana. So we have a few more minutes in this hour-long class to find peace, release, and relaxation. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. When you're ready to move, start with the movement of breath. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. Feeling movement return to your body. And then moving in slow motion after that 5th breath. Take your time, roll onto one side of your body into a nurturing pose. Feel free to hold here for a moment if you like. And then continuing to move in slow motion, guide your way up to seated. Sitting up nice and tall, nicely extended spine. You can cross your legs here if you'd like. And just notice the release and relaxation through your shoulders, all the way down through your arms, into your hands where they're just resting on your lap. Take a breath. Feel the ease and calm in your body. Hopefully you were able to release some of those binds that you held within. And one more movement together. Let's inhale, extend the arms up into the air. Reach and stretch, perhaps look up. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Take another breath in and out. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow saying, Namaste.